So, finally, Dead by Daylight came out on the Nintendo Switch. And my first impressions, it's okay. It's got some real issues that are glaring that I think need cleaned up. First of all, if you don't know what Dead by Daylight is, it is a good, solid multiplayer game on PS4, Xbox One, and PC that you play as a killer or a survivor, and your objective is to either kill all the survivors or, as survivors, escape. Turn on generators, you sneak around a small map area, and do what you gotta do to escape. If that means that you help each other or you don't, that's up to you. Being that it's been out for a while on other consoles, they've worked really well with the community on bringing new characters and keeping things up to date. Now, this officially coming on the Nintendo Switch, it's missing a lot of content, even though it's deemed the quote-unquote definitive edition. I don't know about you, but when it comes to definitive editions, I expect there to be a lot of content to be included. And to be honest, there's not everything's included. If you wanted all the additional content that is out right now on the Nintendo Switch, you're going to pay $40 for your base game and then an additional $58.92 US for all the additional stuff. That just blows my mind that you can label this a definitive edition and not include at least 80 to 90% of the additional DLCs. You know, the more recent stuff, maybe the last 2 monsters, okay, that would be all right. I would felt better about that. And I would have bought them because I would have been happy that I had all this additional content. But how does the game play with what it's given us? Well, as a survivor, I played about a couple rounds. Load times are long. It took me about 4 to 5 minutes to get into a match. And then because of that load time, we finally got in. No sooner did we get in, the actual match lasted about 5 minutes. The killer had us all down in no time, though it was my first match in a long time. The killer was instantly boom, 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 got us all down. We were dead. And so it almost took me out of the experience because I didn't get to have fun. I got into there. I started working on a generator. I ran away because I popped it and ended up coming back, working on it some more. And then instantly somebody else pops it and the killer's there and gets us all. It was disappointing, but that's sometimes how the game works. With those long load times, though, I just feel like that needs to be sped up. I also had a situation that I connected to a host and instantly got disconnected. So then I had to do the whole wait process all over. And to play 2 rounds and wait almost 10 minutes to get in there just seems like a long time to me personally. Now, in docked mode, as a survivor, it's muddy looking. This was never a pretty game to start with, but it just doesn't look good. Details feel like they're missing. Just things don't look right. There's this blank textures places it feels. And overall, it makes me cringe looking at some of the details. Again, I know it's not a pretty game, but facial animations on the characters themselves, it just don't look right. To be honest, Friday the 13th looks better than this. And take that with what you will. The world itself is very drab, and that's fine and all, but it doesn't have to look ugly drab. Now, in handheld mode, the game looks all right. Just because you're on a smaller screen, you don't notice quite those details. But if you look hard enough, you can still see them, and that just irks me a bit. Now, playing as the killer took about the same amount of load time, about 4 to 5 minutes, and got into a match and was able to have a good time. I had played around, had fun. As a killer, you don't quite notice the textures as much being in that first-person perspective, but overall, if you turn the corners too much, do things, you're going to see some pop-ins, you're going to see some issues with that, blank textures, things just don't look right yet again. Functionality-wise, controls, all the controls work really well in handheld and with the Pro Controller. I was very impressed. And sound quality is really solid too. Between the music, listening for the killers, things like that all worked really well. This game relies on solid sound. And they did it. Bravo for that. Now, the menu is laggy as all get out. Just clicking between things or just hovering over different icons for your perks ability, there's tons of lag. And for a local map section, and for something like that, that irks me even more because it's a menu that should be, of all things, be at least a somewhat smooth experience. Clicking between your different killers or different survivors causes it to lag, and it takes you out of the experience. And it's just those little things that keep getting under my skin, especially for a $40 game. Now, some things to note with this one, there is no cross play. So you cannot play against people on the Xbox, PS4, or PC. And depending on who you are, that may or may not be a good thing. It's a bad thing because the ecosystem, the player base is only Switch. So if the Switch community doesn't care for this game in a couple months, you're going to have a harder and harder time to get matches. On the other side, you don't have to worry about going up against somebody on a PC ready to wreck your world using mouse and keyboard. The other side to that is there is no cross progression. So if you played this on PS4 or any of the other consoles, you don't get to bring over your perks or the things you've worked hard on. And that can be, again, be good and bad. It's bad because you feel like if you bought this game on other consoles, you did all that work for nothing. For new people, it's great because everybody, again, is yet on the same playing field. Now, to kind of wrap things up, overall, good sound quality, muddy graphics. Good handling, not a definitive edition. I keep going back and forth because part of me wants to say this game is definitely solid and has potential to be even better. The other part of me says this game has been out on other consoles. It shouldn't run like this on a Nintendo Switch. Of anything, just clean up those textures a bit and fix the lag in the menus. Once that happens, and do something about the DLC content. $58 plus tax for all that stuff just isn't right. Don't call this a definitive edition because it's not. So I appreciate you guys watching the impressions for Dead by Daylight. If you're interested in some gameplay footage for other games, because I'm not going to be playing this, click the link to your left. That'll take you to a running playlist for Blasphemous because that game's 10 times better, in my opinion. If you love this content and would love to check out some more, check the link to your right. That'll take you to our channel where we have tons of videos going on over there. Until next time, you guys, stay frosty.